We're only 3 episodes in and my upload schedule is about as intact as my sleep schedule. Oh boy. Hi, I'm Felix and I'd like to welcome you back to episode 3 of my Devlog series. This one has taken me a while, but I hope you will enjoy what I've created. As I said last episode, I worked on the interior of the colony center. I wanted to do a weekly update video, but after the first week I had barely more than a new map mockup. And the map itself is just one of the things needed to bring the colony center to life. But now I got a lot more done. I worked on the interior map of the colony center much the same way I did on the colony map last episode. I started out by creating a mockup. This alone took way too much time as I experimented a lot with different flooring and generally struggled to find a modern, clean style that translates well into pixel art. I was decently happy with this, and so I added the map to the game. Next up, I want to show you this little machine on the right. As I mentioned in the first devlog video, I want to create a market simulation with varying prices in order to dissuade players from specializing heavily into a single production line. Using this terminal, players can view some information on current item prices and price development. During development of this system, I experimented with different approaches to simulate prices. In the end, I settled on a very simple approach. Market prices are based on the percentage of an item's base value. This percentage can randomly change by up to 5% up or down each day. This produces some nice looking graphs, but still keeps the prices from jumping too much and becoming unpredictable. In the future, I want to introduce some item-specific parameters to the simulation. For example, I'd like to have control over how stable the price of different items is. The other big feature I've been working on is selling items. To do so, you talk to this NPC I have added. It is the local corporation representative, and for now I've called her Lucy. Up until right now I had no system for handling dialogue, and I did not want to reinvent the wheel if it wasn't absolutely necessary. After some research, I decided to integrate yarn spinner into the project. This was reasonably easy, and it is a great tool for scripting dialogue. While you can write dialogue in your text editor of choice, they also provide a web-based editor that you can see here. This is all the scripting currently needed for our helpful NPC. My game code simply triggers the start node and yarn spinner takes over the dialogue. Possibly my favorite feature can be seen on the lower left node. Yarn spinner can call functions within my game code. It's super easy and I use it here to open the game UI for selling items. Here you can see how it looks in game. You can interact with the NPC and the dialogue starts. If you choose to sell, it opens a view of the inventory where you can designate items you want to sell. After confirming the sale, you get back into the dialogue. In case you were wondering why some slots are grayed out, it's because not all the items are bought by the corporation. I will refine what exactly is bought once I add more production. Eventually I want to add at least one other trader that buys all kinds of junk-like items. Implementing all of this has taken quite a while. Partly because I had to iterate on some of the stuff, but also because I made several changes to the game that are not necessarily visible to the player. For example, I completely overhauled how I work with pixel art animations. Previously, I animated the character in Sprite and then arranged the frames onto a sprite sheet. After importing that sheet into Unity, I would create the animations with the frames and timings by hand. Using a Unity package, I can now import my original Sprite files directly. It separates the animations based on the labels and also copies the frame timings. This saves a lot of time and frustration. And while I was porting the player animations to this new import method, I simply had to fix the ugly animations for walking left or right. Another invisible feature is pausing in-game time. I initially did not want to ever pause the in-game time during normal gameplay. However, I realized that there are going to be some UIs where the player has to spend considerable time. The two examples implemented right now are Devlog and the market terminal. You should be able to study market prices without constantly worrying about the passing time. To make it less confusing during what UIs the game is paused, I added a little UI element in the bottom right corner of the screen. Whenever the game is paused, you can see a little pause symbol. The next invisible feature is that maps now have a new attribute that tells the game whether the player can build there. It is actually not that invisible, because wherever you can't build, the tool hit marker vanishes. The last invisible feature I want to mention is a new tag I can apply to objects on the map. The persistent tag ensures that an object is always there when the level is loaded from a save, and also ensures that the object is never saved. This is really useful for me when building maps that the player cannot build on. One object using this tag is the market terminal, for example. If you've made it this far, thanks for watching. I'm only 3 videos into my devlogs and already lost any resemblance of an upload schedule. Because of that, I'm just going to resist the urge of promising to release the next video next week. I just have to work on the project until I feel that it is in a state that gives me enough interesting stuff to show. If you like what I'm doing, please subscribe and you won't miss my next video. I'm Felix and I'll be back with another video soon. Bye.